Good evening, everyone. My name is Drew Chesney, and I am a council commissioner, and welcome back to our monthly council roundtables and leaders update. We held these consistently through the last year, and really good feedback and opportunities to discuss what's going on in the council, and also entertain any questions that you may have about any topic. We usually get into Q&A towards the end, but if you have something that comes up on one of the slides, feel free to drop it in the chat box or to raise your hand, and we will certainly be able to answer any questions that you may have. We'll also pause and allow for the opportunities for conversation if anybody may have one. So it's great to see everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic summer. I hope that we are getting into the swing of scouting as best we possibly can. I know school has started up. I think the last of the districts start off this week. Yep, that'd be Brian, I think, with North Colony starting off today, but I think everybody else has been pretty much back to school for at least a couple days. We have a pretty good program lined up for you today, a lot of updates going on. And then starting next month, we'll get into some generic topics for basic knowledge and growth. So this evening, we have a great group of individuals with us. I'm just looking through the list real quick. We have a good majority of the professional staff with us at this point. I see Holly, I see Tori, I saw Tyler, I saw Quinn, we see Mark, we've got Brian as a VP of program. I know that Cheryl's here someplace. And yeah, so we have a lot of individuals who can answer questions as they come up. For the most part, we kind of, if you have ever been to one of these before, we kind of stick to the council level. We'll dive into some district stuff, but we allow the districts to kind of do their own thing at their roundtables. So to find some local stuff and probably attending those roundtables would be a great idea as well. So with that, we're going to get rolling. And first up is, with any scouting moment, is a safety moment. So Brian.
All right, we've been doing our safety moments now for several of these meetings. It's a good practice for you to encourage with your own unit meetings as well. If you haven't seen it before, BSA's website has an entire page of safety moments, brief little vignettes on different aspects of the scouting program. Some of them include videos you can play. There's really great tools to help educate your scouts and leaders. And tonight I was thinking as it turns to fall, and there's no bad time to have a campfire, but fall seems to be the best time, right? As you got the cider donuts are ready and the pumpkin spice, whatever people like to pumpkin spice up. But we are ready for our campfire season. So I thought I'd take a moment to talk about campfire safety here. And we all know how to build campfires. You learn that in scouting, but we want to make sure that we're doing it safely. So please remember to consider the environmental conditions in which you're building your fire. Think about local campfire regulations as far as communities or the campground where you're staying, what rules they may have in place. Beware of the current fire conditions. We oftentimes have time, particularly in the spring, where there are active burn bans in place because of dry conditions and windy conditions that are in place. Consider the direction of the wind and the size of your fire before you begin. And make sure that when you're building a campfire, that we're using an established campfire ring. When you go to a campground, I know we run into this a lot at Rotary, where sometimes during weekend events and things for different games, people build new campfire rings when there's a campfire ring right over there in the campsite that would have done just as well. And this is part of the leave no trace principles of scouting. So make sure you're using established campfire rings. Keep those campfires at least 15 feet away from trees, lean-tos, tents, anything else that could potentially burn. And make sure that your fire is at a safe height. We've seen pictures of the giant towering infernos. Those aren't really necessary for scouting events, particularly in your campsite. Keeping them nice and a nice size that the scouts can appreciate is the way to go there. Within scouting, additives to a campfire is actually prohibited. That means things like chemicals, accelerants, color changers, anything else that's fire enhancing. Those are actually prohibited in scouting. And certainly you want to avoid cooking over any fire that might have those kinds of elements in them or may have had those elements in the past in the wood that's being reused. Always make sure your campfire is out cold when you're done. We want to make sure that we're not creating a risk for spreading fire later on after you've gone. So make sure you've poured water on it and make sure that the fire is out cold at the end of your use. And then never leave your campfires unattended. Make sure you're using the BSA's procedures related to the unit fire guard, and that you've got water, shovels, other tools nearby to be able to extinguish the fire if it starts to get out of hand. The fire in the picture that Drew's got there is looking like a beautiful fire. It's a nice, well-kept ring, and everybody's looking like they're having a great time, and it doesn't need to be 15 feet tall to be able to enjoy the roar of a nice crackling campfire. So enjoy your campfires at camping this fall when you're out with your troops and your packs, or going out to Jamborees and Klondikes in the winter, and have a nice, safe campfire experience.
Fantastic. And I misspoke earlier. Brian is our Vice President of Safe Scouting. I did a little muscle memory when I called him Vice President of Program. So sorry about that. Moving forward, quick update. Charter renewal is coming up quick for all units across the board. We are going to open our charter window from November 1st through December 15th. That does not mean that units don't have things to do between now and then. The two biggest things that you can do to really help yourselves moving forward is, one, to make sure that you process all applications as soon as possible. The real best practice for that is online registration. No paper, no handling things, no delay, no nothing. So that would be your best practice. The second thing that you can do to really help yourself out is run a youth protection report on your unit and see who's going to be expired, and ask them to get that handled as soon as possible. If you were to handle all that stuff right there, those two items, you'll be in absolute great shape. The last reminder that I'll give you is that a couple of years ago, BSA gave unit leaders, the key three more specifically, the ability to shift leaders around in leadership positions. So committee chairs and CORs can move Cub Masters, Den leaders, Scout Masters, and likely you could also appoint, advancement chairs and whatnot. So you probably want to make sure that you get that all set before the system kicks off. I speak to that mostly because you automatically get the access because you're the committee chair or the Scout Master or the COR. If you're a new committee chair, if you're a new Cub Master or Scout Master, you're going to have a role in the charter. So you want to make sure that actually reflects that your position before you get started. Once you open it up and get rolling, it's a whole new world. So a lot of times to fix that stuff, we have to wipe off any work that you've done and start you all over. So keep that in mind. Again, those really two big items would be great for you to start with. And then also to make sure that your roles are pretty accurate in the system before you get too far down the line. All right, but we'll have more details on this coming up pretty quick. The website is going to be completely updated so that it reflects all accurate fees, timelines, documents. There's going to be brand new how-to videos and support documents from National that just came out that we have to get them up and rolling. And then also we have to get the resources out to your unit commissioners so they have the access as well to be able to help you. So a lot of this stuff has just been coming out over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to do our best to update our stuff. But if you don't have it in your mind and you don't have it on your committee agendas, I would start putting it on there and having some consideration this year. If you line everything up perfectly, there are quirks in the system, but if it's done and there's no quirks, my charter for my unit took me 10 minutes last year. So it is possible to have a positive experience. So believe it or not. So any questions on that, feel free to drop them in the box, reach out, but I would get moving on those particular items. Tori, we've got a few slides for you in membership.
Thank you, Drew. First of all, welcome back, guys, to another great year of scouting. And I know we are all ready for another exciting year of scouting and recruitment. I just want to take a moment and I want to introduce some of our new members of our Twin Rivers Council membership team. We have been fortunate enough to add on a few members of the membership team at the council level that are there and working. And so we have a great team of 5 that is there for you guys to help out with any type of recruitment. So If you guys are on, just do a little wave so everybody can see who you are. First, I want to introduce Frank Ovitt. Frank has come on board. He is our new unit development and school access coordinator. So Frank is the one that's going to be kind of took over what Ty was doing. He's going to be working with new units, and it depends, in the area, he's going to be the ones that you're going to talk to. He's also working on school access and getting into school access. Frank is a great guy. He is involved in scouting, and he is, I do believe, the scoutmaster up at 4016. So if Frank is on, wave hi to Frank. But if you guys have any questions on new unit, you'd go to Frank. And then we have Erin McGovern, who has joined the team. She is our recruitment event coordinator. So any recruitment events that are coming through, whether you guys want to reserve the pop-up, or you have a recruitment event that you're requesting us to have materials or be there for you, or be there as support, she is the one that you're going to go directly to. She is the one that is going to streamline it through. She does all the scheduling. And if she's not able to make it, she's going to reach out. So any events that you guys have, you want to make sure that you reach out to Erin. And then we have Jackie Miller, who came on board. She's membership recruitment and community outreach. Jackie is jumping right in and creating databases. She's finding all kinds of events, bringing some really great ideas to the team for recruitment. So she is one that, that is going to be working with some more of the community outreach and building and developing relationships, working with our Scout Reach program. And then we have Quinn. Quinn is there. Quinn is our social media guru. He is there. He's going to help us with all the social media, geofencing, and of course, he is the lead in the really big push for the new member coordinator program. So if you have any questions on your social media, you want to start getting one developed, Quinn will be able to help you out. He's working on some really great things with videos and some new recruitment stuff that we're going to be. So keep your eyes open on the Twin River Council or even out there for ads and different things. So Quinn is doing all of that. And then you have me that, as you guys all know, so you have a great team of 5 that is here willing to help you out. We all have our specialties, but we all are working together to give you the best recruitment season possible. So at the events, you may see Erin, you may see me, you could see Quinn, you could see Frank, or you could see Jackie. We're here to support you in any way that we can. Some of the other things I just wanted to throw on here real quick. I won't go through every single one of these because Drew is recording this and we are going to make a flyer for this. So you guys, but these were some out of the box recruitment ideas. And to be honest, too, I got this Ty actually sent this to me from when he was out in commissioning, where they all got together and they had to come up with a couple different ideas. And I really liked a lot of them that are on there because there's a lot of different ways to think outside of the box than just your traditional, let's get flyers out in the school, different ways to set things up. One that I love is number 5, which is set up for a super Saturday at a high traffic shopping center or supermarket. You have your unit displays out there, distribute flyers, have the scouts available to be able to help, bring packages to cars. I love that because scouting is out in the community. It's showing scouting out there, but it also gives you a different way of doing a recruitment event. You don't always have to have your typical standard recruitment event. Yes, you want to make sure you're at your back to school nights. You want to make sure you have your tables there. A lot of the schools are opening them up. Absolutely. These are ones you can add all throughout. So take a look at those. We will be creating a nice little flyer to send out to you for that. Couple other things is that one thing, as I talked about when I was up at Rotary over the summer and talking to some of our troops is, think about developing your marketing plan. If you have a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, someone that's in there that really loves to work on like the social media, working on marketing stuff, might be a way to pull them in as a volunteer, but also make that as part of your planning. As you're sitting down and you're planning, usually a lot of the units do that back in June, some meet in August, but make sure that this is a part of it. And, and in the troop level, make sure you're including a lot of bring it to a PLC meeting, include some of the older kids on what else can we do. Make sure you got a marketing plan going on. And troops, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to your local community packs, ask if they need any help with recruitment, reach out. This is the time that they really need all hands on deck to be able to help out. So make sure that we're reaching out and in developing those relationships. Your social media, you want to make sure you get your social media up. You're welcome to the pack or the troop team. Do you have a team that, as Quinn has the new member coordinator, do you have somebody there to turn around and welcome all of the new families and be the Tigger of your unit? And also, do you have your unit event, your recruitment event scheduled? Whether you're a pack or a troop, hey, feel free, get out there, start scheduling your recruitment events, and let them know that scouting is out there. We've had a lot of units take advantage of this. Really, in the spring, we had a great push, and we got about 320 new scouts from the beginning of about the middle of March until about June or July. And we are continuing to thrive, and we are increasing and have had growth every month. So let's make sure we're getting the scouting program back out there. Go ahead, Drew. Just want to throw out here is that we are here to help you with your recruitment events. A lot of units have taken full advantage of either using the pop-up or our brand new archery range, which we're really excited about. I was up this past weekend up at the Battle of Plattsburgh with a couple of the troops up there and promoting it. And it was a lot of great, this is a big draw. I will tell you, the archery range is a huge draw. And as you can see, our pop-ups go pop. Everybody sees us. So we are there. Reservations can be done on our website. You go to if you go right underneath membership, it'll say to reserve the pop-up or the archery. You fill out the Google form to give us some details, and we would be glad to be there. Erin will look at it. She will look at it, review it, see how everything is, see if we can schedule it. It's not a complete guarantee once you fill out that form that it's going to be there, because sometimes we have 2 or 3 events. I will tell you that we now have 2 sets. We have 2 pop-ups and 2 archery ranges. So now we're able to do a little bit more events than just 1 each day, but take advantage of this. It's a lot of fun. It's great. We actually just even got little pumpkins now to float on the archery range for the fall for the kids to have a great time. So they're not just going after the little plastic balls. So take advantage of this, reach out, and we can definitely see if one of us can make it there for you for a recruitment. And last but not least, just want to let you know is that as a membership team, I had built some webinars from some feedback that I got from units for some more information on a particular things. This Wednesday, we have the welcoming and onboarding new scouting families. I'm going to be doing a presentation, and this will be a webinar of, like how you got a whole bunch of families signed up. Now, what do you do? How do you get them, all the new parents, up to speed? How do you tell them everything that you want to know? A lot of the times we're so excited, we get them involved, and then their first meeting comes and it's kind of like they're kind of in the corner, they're not involved. So this is going to give you some tips and tricks and give you some different ideas on how we can do that and keeping the families engaged and welcoming them. One thing to keep in mind, 59% of the families that do leave scouting is because they don't feel welcomed. And we want to change that. We want to make sure that they are a part of the scouting family. And then in October 12th is new Cub Scout parent orientation. This is a little bit different. This is not just onboarding, but it's also how do we keep our parents in the loop? How do we, give them a good welcome, a good atmosphere in Cub Scouts? How do we get them to be engaged, to be volunteers? And last but not least is one of the biggest ones that I got a lot of feedback that people would like. This is more of a retention tool, is the AOL to Scout transition. That's at November 9th. Figuring we'll do that one a little bit later, so it's on your minds. And as we're looking forward to, transition, which is in usually in February, March, it's just like, what do we do? I think a lot of the times there's a little bit of disconnect and over the years that, some den leaders that are brand new may not know exactly what to do and how to reach out to units, and how can troops and units reach out to, their packs around them and invite their Weeblos, their AOLs, and start developing those relationships. So come join us on those. Like I said, the first one is actually this Wednesday. And then there's one a month. But hey, if you guys can think of any other type of presentations that you guys have questions on that you'd like us to see to do, please feel free to shoot me an email. I'll be glad to put something together. We can kind of look at it and see what we can do. I'd like to be able to do one of these a month going forward. So if there's anything you guys can think of, reach out. And just to reiterate what Drew said early on is that we are full swing into recruitment season. And we want to make sure that if you guys are not doing the online registration, and some that are still doing the paper, which we really like you to use the online because it makes life a lot easier for you because the payment is completed, but make sure we're getting those applications in. Because if you don't get them in, the scouts are not registered, they are not insured. It could also do something with, it could even play around with their advancement, because none of that stuff is going to be recorded and we can only go back so far. So if you hold them to December, we can't go back to, to September to add this youth on. So make sure you're getting those applications in as soon as you receive them, or reach out to me. And there's 5 of us. We'll be glad to meet up and help pick up those applications. So just make sure, and it's going to make your life with chartering so much easier. So, but no, thank you guys for all that you do. I appreciate it. I've been really excited to see all of the recruitment events. I'm really excited to see all the units and everybody getting really excited about scouting again. I want to say this is probably the biggest that I've seen in a very long time, and it's all because of you guys. So I just want to say thank you so much, and reach out to any one of us if you got any questions.
Fantastic. Any questions for Tori?
Well, I didn't say right now. No, I'm just joking.
No, you're getting questions.
I have a
All right.
question.
Sure, go for it.
Question that I have is, a week or 2 back, we had an opportunity to do a recruitment event in Rensselaer. And everybody said, oh, no, it's too soon. And I got a lot of, we've tried to do units in Rensselaer before and it never worked. So, I didn't ask for anybody to come and do it for me. I asked for support for me to go and do it, and it was unilaterally shut down. And I was,
So what's your question?
one of the reasons it was shut down was that the archery range wouldn't be available, but this was a urban school event where I don't think any type of shooting sport would have been available. And also, we just started a Sea Scout ship in Rensselaer. So my question is, are we really serious about doing recruiting? Or do we just say,
Greg,
we're going to do recruiting?
Greg, here, let me address a couple of things because you're loading up the question. We're absolutely serious about recruiting. So, I think what you ran into was you gave a last minute heads up, and this team is going 1,000 miles an hour. Most of it's freshly hired. We need an advance notice. We're trying to coordinate across the entire council. So I think you ran up against kind of a late notice. But trust me, when we have 50% of our staff solely focused on membership, that's all they do, I can guarantee that we are very serious about recruiting.
Well, it doesn't seem that way. It seems like we're very serious about recruiting Cubs, and we're very serious about recruiting Cubs from communities that can afford to register online.
I'm sorry, I don't.
So,
Greg, maybe we should have an offline conversation because I think you're way off in left field and you probably feel like I am. But let's have an offline conversation. We have so much of our council resources pointing at recruitment. I don't even know where to start. Obviously there's a disconnect in what you're feeling and what you're seeing versus what we're putting out there. So let me invite myself to why don't you schedule a call with me and let's get to the bottom of that for you.
well, I'll let you go ahead and reach out to me because I've done my reaching out and was shut down. So if you want to have that conversation, please feel free to email me. I'm on Scoutbook.
Okay. Tori, the question here is, will the webinars be available after the fact in case someone can't make it?
Oh, absolutely. They're all going to be recorded. And then what I will do is I will post the links up through the Facebook, and they will also be, I also have them out in our newsletter. So keep an eye out for them. And I think I can send them to you, Drew, and we can even upload them onto the YouTube where we put these. So there'll be in multiple locations for you. Absolutely.
Awesome. That's what I see so far. So let's go on to the next slide here. Quinn, you're up, man.
Perfect. Yeah, I just want to take a quick moment to go over a few social media tips. So the biggest thing is that while not everybody that's involved in a unit might use Facebook, there is a lot of people that have a Facebook. And it's a great opportunity. I can't tell you how many times I will go and search a business on Facebook to see what people say about it. And the same thing with a unit. You want to know, hey, what is Scout or Troop 4070? What is this? You look at the page. Wow, they post a lot of content and talk about stuff, and they actually give a contact. Bam, you have something right there. All you just had a mention of your unit somewhere in community, brought you the Facebook to search it, and you already have somebody interested in looking into it. And while it's something you do want to keep updated, it kind of works to itself in the sense of it's advertising for you and also giving content. If you ever look, I will admit though, if you do have a Facebook, you want to keep it updated. If you have, let's say, a business that has a Facebook and they haven't updated in 6 years, they haven't posted, like, is this unit still here? So it is something you want to consider. You want to continue being active in the Facebook page, but it's a very useful tool. Now the calendar event, this is really cool. So this is kind of more into talking about geofencing. You can make a event. You've probably seen people that are going to a specific event. They can share it. You can see the status of, hey, you might be interested in this event because your friends are going. And this is something you can share to community pages, people's Facebook page, just with a specific event and a location. And it's really easy to invite people to join those events. I know I've done Facebook events for my in Schuylerville for the community page, and hundreds of people see it within like half a day that are actually in the area of Schuylerville. So it works very well. You can target where you're posting. You can also just share it on your own page, and then your friends share it, and then you have the word out of a event without having to go one by one. Hey, here's a flyer. So it's not something that takes over flyers. It's something that makes multiple touch points. What is it saying? You have to see it like 14 or 30 times to consider it. So the more touch points you have, the higher chance you have of having someone interested. So let's see. Yes, a lot of units are doing great with the content. So a page is a lot more flexible than a group. It allows a lot of abilities. Facebook recently made an update for groups that they either have to be private or fully public. There's no in between anymore. Before, you could have like a partially public group where like people couldn't post. You can still restrict things, but it's a lot more effort into it. And you can still do groups, but I would recommend as a unit to do pages, because you can do a lot more ads and other posts and just share your events in a little different way. And it's more convenient for the unit for a page. So I definitely recommend a page. Yes, the login info can be difficult if one specific person has it. I would recommend perhaps your chair, something along those lines, or having a group email for that content. But yes, that can be difficult. In terms of resetting the login, perhaps you can look through Facebook itself and contact them saying, hey, the one that owned this page doesn't access anymore. I know you can do that with businesses, such as like a laundromat, if the ownership changes. So that's something you should be able to do. Does anyone else have any other questions? And you can always reach out to me on email, and I would be happy to have a conversation call for anybody that has social media questions. We can always have any meetings. If you're interested in a social media, branching out to different ones, or just specific setup questions.
All right, beautiful. Moving on along. Brian, you want to do a wrap up on summer camp and looking forward?
Sure. We had a great season out of camp this summer. Had a great deal of fun. It was our centennial season. We had a fantastic centennial celebration midway through the season there. Got to see lots of folks who came back out to see camp, some of whom hadn't been around for a little while, and it was great to see some of those faces come in. But kids had a great time. You can see the latest addition to our program there. Got in place mid-season this year, which is that big inflatable water slide. The slide's on the far side of the image there that you can't quite see. You could see the ladder up the side, but there's a slide down the other side there. Kids had a great deal of fun with that. So yeah, it was a fantastic summer. We're really excited about how everything turned out. Kids had a great time, and we're already starting to make plans for next summer. Really looking forward to that as well. We did mention early in the season that we were looking at our schedule for next year and possibly making some adjustments to that schedule. And we were talking about the initial announcement that I had put out to some of the troops, well, not to some of the troops, but to everybody, was that we were looking at taking out week 6 next year, and kind of shuffling some things around there. We've looked at that, and we're actually, the issue with that we run into next year is next year's a Jamboree year, and it's the first Jamboree we've had in several years. And we know that there's already units. There's always been, I've been doing this long enough, every time we have a Jamboree year, it always has an impact on camp attendance. It always has an impact on when camp troops want to come to camp, because troops don't want to come during the Jamboree weeks because of, some of their leaders are off at Jamboree, or some of their older scouts are at Jamboree, or things like that. So we're looking at that for next year, and we've decided to make an adjustment to that. That we are going to keep week 6 in place for next year, but we are going to basically avoid Jamboree for next year. We already had a plan for Cub Scout resident camp, which was week 4 this year. It's going to be week 4 again next year. That's one of the 2 weeks of Jamboree. And we are going to move forward with eliminating the scout camp week during week 3. Normally that would be kind of unheard of because it's normally one of our bigger weeks, but we've already seen a number of troops with their registrations for next year are moving out of that week to be able to avoid Jamboree. So they're moving into week 5, they're moving into week 2, or other weeks like that. So between that, and we do have some concerns that Jamboree could have an impact on us from a staffing perspective for that particular week, because we may lose some staff members that are going to go off to Jamboree before returning back to us. So we are looking at some other options possibly for some programs during that week 3, but we are not going to run a scout resident camp during week 3, which is the 3rd week of July. So we would have 2 weeks of resident camp, looking at some other alternatives for that 3rd week, Cub Scout resident camp, and then 2 weeks of Scout BSA resident camp, with STEM week being in its normal location at the end of the summer in week 6. So more information on that is coming forward. Same thing with information about fees. There's a board meeting later this week that we'll be looking at that, and we'll have some information that we'll be able to roll out once we get some clarity from that group. But that just to give you a little heads up, you heard it first. We'll be getting this information out to the units, but we are going to keep week 6 in place, and we're going to try something different during week 3 that might be able to keep camp open and doing some things, but maybe not the same kind of a program, so that we can accommodate staff members that may be departing to Jamboree for a couple of weeks.
Very cool. Appreciate it. Tyler, you want to touch real quick on the Beaver Day at Walk By?
Sure. So this Saturday, starting at 8:30, there will be a group of volunteers and scouts going up to Camp Waupamani to do their Beaver Day. There's going to be a lot of projects looking into cleaning up for winter, and getting camp ready for winter reservations, getting firewood prepared, and all things like that. There is no registration necessary, but we ask that you do, because the Alumni Association is providing lunch, and so they kind of want to know how many people are going to attend. The reservation link is on the website currently, and it's set up for the 17th. So that's all I got on that.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Upcoming, we do have a number of districts that are running fall events. You can take a look here and see on the screen. We have Adirondack at Bedford, September 23rd through the 25th. We have Turning Point at Waupamani, the 30th through the 1st. Fort Orange is doing an event at Thatcher's Park on the 30th through the 1st, according to the calendar. And Yankee Doodle has their Hollywood Drive-In set up for the 15th, overnight to the 16th. A ton of information is on the website already. Registration is open for the vast majority of these events, I do believe. Tyler's shaking his head yes.
They're open for all of them.
Great. I think it's important to remember that just because you live in a particular district, if the date or the program doesn't match what you're looking for, you feel free to travel off to another district and see what they're doing. If you're looking for Cub programming, I don't know the details on the Cub program for Adirondack, Turning Point, and Fort Orange, but I know that the Yankee Doodle event is very Cub friendly, and they even have 2 videos lined up. And the first one is a PG, Eric, right? He's looking
Yes,
for the
yes.
video.
Yeah, I just had to unmute. Yes, right now we know that one is going to be The Secret Life of Pets 2. That's already in the can, and Frank Fisher, who is the owner of the Hollywood Drive-In, is still working to get us a Marvel comic book type movie for the second showing. And so that will be a great night out. It's also a great, I would just pitch, it's a good event for Cub Scouts. They can come and just stay for the movies, or they can camp overnight, which is a cool thing for Cub Scouts.
Yep. Again, all of these are open to any individuals who are interested. So please check them out if your unit hasn't made any plans or is looking for something to do. We have the swim programs going on Monday nights, 8 to 9 p.m. at the Shaker High School. Tyler, is there anything you want to touch in on with this? I know on the website it has contact information to register if you're interested, but just kind of want to go over quick what they offer at the program and whatnot.
Yeah, so the Shaker Swim program is making a comeback after COVID. It's a great opportunity to do swim tests for your unit, work on swimming merit badge, work on some second class or first class swim requirements, or the aquanaut for our Cub Scouts. Don Fremont is the lead in charge of this event. He does ask that you email him ahead of time, just so he can make sure that there's enough staff to run whatever particular program you're looking at. The first week is next week. Again, it is on our calendar. It's every Monday minus a couple Mondays throughout the rest of the fall.
Beautiful. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. I have a couple more slides for you, so be ready.
Okay.
We do have a Jamboree group going, correct, right?
Yes, we do.
All right, so we have Jamboree coming up in 2023. Brian alluded to that we are making plans as a council to that and adjusting summer camp. But just keep in mind, it's a fantastic opportunity for really anyone. If there's a youth who is looking for the adventure and the experience, there's staffing opportunities for adults. At this point, we're looking to put together 1 unit to go from Twin Rivers Council. We would love for 2 if we get enough interest, but we're at least aiming for 1 right now. We do have some details up on the website to get you rolling. We do have some registration opportunities. Jamboree.scouting.org is where you can find more information if you're looking for it. Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick, but is there any movement from the territory on a female Scouts PSA unit at all or no?
We asked for Rochester to take the lead on that for us. So some more information to come probably next Friday when we speak again. But rather than individual councils trying to piece it together, having one kind of territory troop for us to funnel girls to.
So the opportunity will be there as well. So it's if you've never been to the summit, it's a fantastic spot. And the program is top notch. I went on staff at the last round. So if you have any interest, any youth, please feel free to ask any questions. I'd be happy to point you the right direction.
Hey, Drew, can I just pop in for Jambo for 1 second?
Sure.
So you do have to register with National, and you have to also register with our website. It's all live. And on October 5th, tentatively around 7 o'clock, Nick Mitchell and myself will be hosting a webinar session on the Jamboree to answer any questions and provide more details on a council contingent level. So if you have questions, please feel free to email me. I will put my email into the chat. Submit your questions, and we'll have a little bit of a about 45-minute, half an hour chat on Jamboree on October 5th.
Great. Thank you. Rihanna, I see you turn on your camera because you see that you're up next with Leave No Trace.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Rihanna Meyer. I've been working with Josh Clark to put together a Leave No Trace trainer course for the weekend of September 23rd through the 25th. This is a really exciting course. I don't think we've done one on the council level for a while now, so I'm really excited to be putting this on. The cost is $45, and that includes all of your food, like your meals, and then also recognition at the end. And it's limited to 10 participants. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend that you register now because spot filling up. If you have any questions, my email is on the slide right there. Feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to help you out with any questions you may have.
Great. Anybody have any thoughts or questions real quick while we're here with Brianna? No? Okay. We have 4 trainings coming up. I know that Cheryl is on the Zoom, so if these are incorrect or anything to add to it, I'm sure she can let us know. Cheryl, are these all good?
Yes, those are correct. And for folks that aren't able to do the Cub Leader training, we have additional dates that'll be coming up in November and December as well for specific den leaders. And then also in November, we will be having the Scout BSA leader training coming up. So these are the ones coming up in October, but we have additional ones coming up in November if you can't make these. You will see that we have the 2 outdoor trainings, the Baloo, which is for Cub Scout leaders, and then the Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills, which is for the Scout Masters and Scout BSA side of things. Those are our 2 outdoor programs for the fall. There will be another Baloo in February, and then we will also be offering Baloo and IOLS again in April and May. But for now, these are the dates that we have for the fall.
Great. Appreciate it very much. Holly, you want to mention a few things on the popcorn sale?
Firstly, I absolutely love this picture. I just want to thank everybody for everybody like pitching in and stuff for the drop off that we did on Friday and Thursday. Staff like just moving the boxes and everything else, and everybody was really, really awesome at exit 16 when we dropped the boxes off, helped load cars and everything else. So I really appreciate everybody's help with that. One of the things I definitely want to put out there to everybody is for next year, it seems like we were kind of playing catch up this year with people not knowing if they were selling popcorn or trying to get over through the summer. This year we opened it up and people could start selling August 5th. We had popcorn coming in. So that way we could start doing show and sells. I know some people were on vacation and stuff, but it's helpful. It was helpful to some of the units to get out there while the kids weren't in school and didn't have the extra activities and also all the other stuff that comes when school comes, that for different clubs and stuff like that, for selling different items and stuff like that. September is pretty even keel this year as far as things that need to be done. There's a lot of show and sells going on, and it seems like everybody's doing a really, really good job. If you do have product that you don't think you're going to sell, I know that it just went out last Friday, but some of the earlier units, if there's stuff that you just don't think you're going to sell, definitely let us know beforehand, because there's some other units that do have show and sells, and they want some more product because they've done a really, really good job this year. One of the things I want to point out is October 7th, we have returns to the council. Right now, we're doing our best to stick to the schedule. It's really important for just logistics and everything else to make sure everything goes smoothly this year. I'm really, really hoping that very early next week, we get the caramel popcorn that was on back order. I know it won't be this week. There's hopefully getting it in to Camp Master this week, but I'm hoping for early next week. It's definitely a hope. It's nothing that I know is going to happen, but it's my hope that it comes soon. Also, if anybody needs help putting stuff in the system or anything like that, getting the kids signed up, please let me know. I will be more than happy to help you. I do need emails for everybody though. I just can't put the kids' names in without an email. So I think that's it. We do have another take order on October 28th. Everything needs to be in the Camp Master system. That will be our very last order for the year. We can't order after that. And it'll be here December 2nd for pickup at Clark's, and we'll be doing the truck again for up north. But if anybody has questions, definitely email me and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Drew, could I jump in on popcorn real quick?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say thank you to Holly. Aside from the hiccup with Campmaster and the actual production line, I think this has been very smooth. Communication has been fantastic. Everything's been organized. Website, everything is so clean, and Holly has done such a fantastic job. She's done a good job of corralling the other staff to go move popcorn in a hot, sweaty a warehouse and get distribution out. So I just wanted to say thank you, Holly. You're doing a fantastic job keeping us on track this year.
Good, excellent. Anybody have any questions on popcorn while we're here? All right. I think we're getting ready to wrap things up, and we are. I do appreciate everyone's time. It's 8:20, and in practice of my promise, I try to keep you less than an hour in respect of everyone's time. We have our next one scheduled for October 3rd, same time. The link and everything we placed up on the website and Zoom, the Facebook page a couple weeks out. So we're going to hang out for a little bit. A few of us, if anybody has any particular questions or anything they want to talk about, happy to do so. I think we covered everything in the chat box. Two quick items I noticed. Turning Point Jamboree says it will be for both Cubs and Scouts BSA. And Pat tells me that ADK is planning a Cub Day, October 8th, but they're still working out the location. So we do have some things coming up. But I think also as details come around, we have a Rocket Day coming up the end of October at Rotary. And I'm looking for someone to nod their head. And I think
It's the
Tori.
22nd of October.
There we go. So we'll have more details on that as that comes about as well. So appreciate everyone's time tonight. Thank you so much. This is the end of our roundtable discussion. Again, if you have anything you'd like to ask or talk about, feel free to hang out. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I have just something.